Welcome to the first video in our Meet the Members series, where I'm going to be chatting to students and budding producers from the Producertech community to share their personal journey and development within our learning environment, so you can see just how far you can take your production skills here at Producertech. Our membership community isn't very public-facing, as most of it's managed via a private community site. So we have all of these benefits beyond the huge library of online courses that a Producertech All Access membership gives you that aren't very obvious on the surface. This includes weekly exclusive content to inspire and engage you, ranging from extra tutorials and live streams to bonus sample packs and presets, as well as regular activities and assignments, with the biggest ones being remix comps, giving you the chance to remix professional artists for big prizes, as well as smaller tasks in between for practicing various skills or taking on challenges to enhance your creativity. All of this is communicated via the forum, so it's easy to stay up to date with the latest offerings, post your music for feedback, or make requests for any subjects you'd like some help with. And it all provides extra direction that, when combined with the wealth of tutorials on the main site, really helps to maximise the learning experience. So enough rambling, let's meet our first member, Jez Harris, so you can hear how he went from humble beginnings during lockdown to the cream of the crop in our membership community, picking up the top spot in our latest remix comp. It's very nice to meet you. This is the first time we've kind of done this with a student. I've done some private classes, although none with individual members. So it's kind of it's a cool thing to be able to meet.
Thanks for reaching out.
Meet a member. Yeah, no worries. As that happens, you're in Brighton, aren't you?
Yeah, just outside Brighton. Yeah.
About
10 minutes.
Which, coincidentally, if you don't know, is the sort of the home of Producertech, or at least where the company sort of started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of through Loopmasters, and it's where we're kind of registered. So you're actually closer to the official home of Producertech than I am, living in Berlin. But not that it really makes much of a difference, because obviously we're all online and international. We've got students all over. So you couldn't do any other night this week because you got a radio show, right? So what's the deal with that?
Yeah, I'm part of a collective of DJs in the Brighton area, and we called ourselves Lazy Susan Sound System. Nice. And we play like disco and house on vinyl. And
nice.
We've recently started doing a radio show on Code South, which is out of Brighton. So it's on the FM dial in Brighton and live on Mixcloud. So that's really exciting and quite nerve-wracking as well, trying to mix and talk and do shout-outs all at the same time. It's quite...
Yeah, it's harder than you'd think, isn't it? I find it similar with live streams sometimes, just having to broadcast and, teach and chat and just the whole lot is, it can be a lot.
Yeah, props to all the radio DJs out there. I didn't realise how hard it is.
Yeah, nice. And what is your musical background otherwise, apart from the radio show and DJing?
Well, I started off on guitar at school. My dad was in a rock band, so there was always kind of music in the household. In the 60s, he was a bass player in a band called Nashville Teens. And so I picked up the electric guitar quite naturally, and then was in some bands. And then went off to Glastonbury in the early 90s and discovered sort of house music and techno and rave and all that. And there was no turning back after that.
Similar to me. Yeah. My dance music all came from, it came from kind of early Fatboy Slim, Chemical Brothers. That was my transition from guitar-based music to electronic stuff.
Yeah.
Back when Fatboy Slim and Chemical Brothers were playing in the back room of Turnmills. Alongside.
I was very lucky to live in Brighton when the Big Beat Boutique started up down there with Norman and all the other, John, what's his name? I can't remember the other guys.
John Carter.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was a Heavenly Jukebox member. Yeah. So I used to go see him at Turnmills and other places. But yeah, that was
fantastic
great.
parties.
And
that kind of got me into the beats and breaks bit as well. So I was sort of getting into all sorts. But I kind of had to focus with DJing because records are expensive, so you have to kind of focus on one genre if you can. I've got a vast collection of oddities and drum and bass and techno and disco. So it's all which is kind of, when we play out, we always play a bit of each. We don't sort of stick too much to one genre. But
it's the best way.
Absolutely.
I find, yeah.
I was reading about I don't know if you've heard of Optimo. They're like a duo of DJs.
No.
And they just literally closed one of their sort of sets with Slayer, which I thought was quite. I was like, wow, that is properly transversing the genres.
Nice. And when exactly did you kind of want to take your production up a notch then and start to really develop it and learn new skills?
Yeah, I mean, with production, I was in design, and I was using computers quite a lot in the late 90s, and I discovered something called Rebirth. I don't know if you heard of that. It was by Propellerhead, and it was a couple of 303s and a 909 and an 808, and a little sort of sequencer down the side, and it was brilliant. It was just a great sort of bit of software on your PC or Mac, and it just helped with, like, you could just jam. And I thought the Acid, the 303 sound was really good, especially for back then. And that kind of piqued my interest in creating, producing music. And then I had kids. yeah. Family can get in the way, hey. But during that phase, I did dabble with Reason. Not Reason. It was Reason, wasn't it? Yeah, Reason.
Yeah.
Because I liked the kind of rack layout of that, and I was able to just sort of dive in when I had a spare moment to have a play, but I never really produced anything until sort of maybe mid-20s, 2015, something like that, when I discovered Ableton, and got a push with Ableton as part of a sort of a package deal, and then I just discovered Producertech to try and learn how to use all that kit, and that was my first. I think I bought a couple of courses from Producertech on learning Push. Back in 2015, that was my first course.
Nice, yeah. Making music with Push, maybe that was my original course. Yeah, really liked that one. That was fun to make. And then you became a member, I guess. Was that as soon as we started the membership, or was that because you've been a member a little while, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was around the COVID time, the pandemic, and we had a bit of extra time on our hands. I thought, this is the time to get creative. This is the time to make some music. And I saw on one of your email newsletters that you were doing a deal on the membership, and I thought, that's a no-brainer. I've got to do it. Go for it. And it's been amazing. It's been so good to. Especially when I noticed that you had Simon Shackleton doing courses on there, because I danced a lot to him playing as Elite Force at a lot of festivals, and and I love his sound and that. So that was great to check out some of his courses.
He's I've been a fan of Simon back from the Elite Force, the early Elite Force days as well. He was producing great stuff back when Fatboy Slim and Chemical Brothers were just getting started as well. So I actually met him through Dylan Rhymes, otherwise known as Marvin Beaver, and Meet Katie and the Lot 49 guys. I don't know if you know that label, but
I've got a few down there actually somewhere.
yeah. That's I met him through them, and kind of going to Burning Man. So we've been friends for a little while, and he's a brilliant producer and also a great teacher as well. So really awesome person to have on the site.
Yeah, I love his meticulousness. He's very precise.
Oh yeah,
that really appeals to me.
yeah. He's forensic and incredibly thorough, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been in the community since 2020. So going on three years.
Going on 3 years, probably. Yeah. I haven't checked, but it's probably something like that.
A little while. That's awesome. Yeah, we have a few kind of long-standing members, and it's great that I'm getting to know some of you from, the regular live streams and bits and pieces. But there's only so much you can learn about people through the forum and through typing into chat. So it's great to be able to do this.
I love the forum. I look forward to some more people getting on there and collaborating. I'd certainly like to do a bit of that.
Yeah, it's something we'd like to do. I mean, we have our activities. So for anyone who might watch this later and wants to know, we do regular remix comps and regular activities to sort of fill the gaps between remix comps. And they're pretty fun, aren't they, to take part in? The last one was did you do the AI Apocalypse one, or did you not?
I think I missed that one, but there were a couple of the other ones that I didn't enter, but I did make tracks, but I wasn't happy enough with them to enter them. So bit of a perfectionist, but
yeah. Well, I mean, let's sort of dive into your progression then, because you've done the 3 last remix comps, haven't you? Is it just the 3? You started with the Ecstasy.
I started with the Ruckspin one.
Okay.
That was my first one, because I'd never done a remix before, ever. And so that was a real learning curve it was a first competition.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. Great samples to work with. And, I love the original track as well.
Yeah.
And he seemed to really like it. And you were both bobbing your heads along. So I thought, I think I'm on the right track here. So, that kind of got me hooked.
Awesome. So you're actually on the shortlist for that one. So you've been on the shortlist or in the top tracks for a little while then. So after that Ruckspin track, it was probably the Ecstasy one, or was there one in between?
Yes.
Yeah, the Ecstasy. So the Ecstasy one, you did drum and bass.
The Ecstasy one, I think that was the disco one, wasn't it? The drum and bass one was the.
I done it the wrong way around. So yeah, you're right. Lessons in Love was the drum and bass. That's right. Yeah, 4 a.m. Hello 4 a.m. Yeah. So there's the drum and bass one. That's the second one, I guess, then, that made it into the shortlist, and you can definitely hear your skills developing with the mix there.
Yeah, because my sort of varied background in music love, so it was great to be able to, because the tempo kind of suited a drum and bass speed, so tempo, and it was great to just dive into that. And I just started going into old drum and bass tunes and pulling them out and analysing them and listening to the sounds, and then trying to recreate those sounds in live. And that was another great learning experience, to try different genres as well.
Show me how you love me now. Show me how you feel about me.
Yeah, I think your probably diverse knowledge of dance music and lots of different tracks kind of comes through in the arrangement. You can see what to bring in when, and how to lift things up and drop them down, and just like a DJ often knows these sorts of things kind of more instinctively.
Yeah. I mean, I think that my arrangements, probably that's one of the things where I would like to go a bit deeper and sort of expand, because I'm a bit sort of
loopy.
First chorus, build up, break down, that kind of thing. I want to kind of make it a bit more interesting. I think, like the guys were saying on the one that I just won, I think that's what they mentioned, and I took that on board. It's try and get a bit more creative with arrangements and make things a bit more interesting and unexpected.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that one, there's the Ecstasy one, like as you said, that's the deep disco.
Yes.
that was my, favorite up to that point for sure. I was a big fan of that. I think I scored it, amongst the top tracks in that one. And that one in particular, I think we had some really high quality. Well, in fact, every remix comp has really high quality
that one
productions. Yeah. So I really liked that one. I think that was great. And in fact, were you in the top? You're very close to the top three. If you didn't,
I think I was close to say, I think maybe came fourth or something like that. Yeah,
so maybe just missed out on that one.
And because I've been watching the Funk courses, and he really inspired me to get my bass guitar out. So I sort of started doing some recording in some live bass, which was also new. I'd never done that before.
That's awesome.
And chopping it up and making it fit and tighter, because my bass skills needed a bit of tightening up a bit. But,
when you've got the technical knowledge and the audio editing abilities, it almost doesn't matter what you do record. To some extent, you can always tweak it, and then it's your own part in there. You can also cheat by slowing it down, and if you L Train showed a few techniques recently where he does a lot of the backing vocals. You probably saw it, actually. I think it was in his live stream and remixing. Yeah, did a lot of the backing vocals, and
they sound rough, weren't they?
Yeah. Just sort of gets anything in there and then fixes it and slaps on effects, and it just beds down into the track really nicely. So now onto the latest remix comp, which was the Henge one, which you won, which was incredibly impressive.
It's very incredible.
It was my favorite. I know Henge had their favorites for sort of different reasons, being more connected to the stems and really looking for super interesting or even amusing arrangements, things that they found to be really fun. But they scored yours highest as well, just like me, because it just delivered. So although I think, as you said, a touch formulaic, but it really did. It's the one that would just work best on a dance floor, and I'm a sucker for breaks, so so I absolutely loved it.
It was nice to use some of the original drum samples in that, and then with the fills in as well. I got a bit of inspiration from the Chemical Brothers for that. How they mix up the live drum sounds into their productions. That's what sort of helped me put that section in, and I really enjoyed it. And I just got some new sort of sampley bits from JUNO synths and that to make the bass sounds, and I had some real sort of moments where I was creating and going, whoa, that sounds really cool.
That's awesome.
It was very exciting to make that one. Really.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. And very, very proud. And it's, like I said, really nice to hear that progression. Your remix is getting better and better to the point where you win. So
I'm so well done. I got my headphones today.
Oh, nice. The same as mine. There you go. They're
incredible. They're so good. They're so comfortable, and the sound is incredible. I mean, I had been using these old AKGs for ages, and they're falling apart, so it couldn't have been better. So,
excellent.
It's amazing.
That's awesome. And hopefully you'll enjoy the Isotope suite and the plugins that come with that as well. So excellent. So I guess finally, what are your ultimate goals then? Do you have plans to release tracks? Do you have any aspirations?
I do have I've kind of got this thing where I really want to get one of my tracks on vinyl. I've got to do it. It's like a goal.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to release at least 2 or 3 tracks in the next year. and sort of going along the kind of the heavy disco kind of vibe, and maybe even start a record label with my DJ friends to release it on if no one else will. So,
well, but with services like kind of Label Radar and things like that, they're even kind of almost like a partner of us in some ways, because we're connected through the sort of Beatport connection. Possibly there'll be some partnership down the line there where we can offer something to our members to help you reach other labels, and because it is a good service to get get your music in the faces or other ears of appropriate labels.
It would be good to know how to go about doing that sort of thing. Getting the music out there, because it's a bit of a minefield, especially with streaming and all that. So finding record labels and getting noticed, I think, is
difficult. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. and good luck with it. So finally then, is there anything else you'd like to see at Producertech in terms of content, features, community activities, anything like that?
I love all the courses and the forums and the live streams. I think I love the way that it just keeps you coming back sort of week on week with new courses. You don't lose interest. It's always going. So I love that bit. And I think what I thought might be a good idea is when you run an assignment or a competition, maybe to take people's tracks, their live tracks or whatever DAW they're using, and maybe go through it and show ways that it could be improved. That might be a good thing to do. So you're taking their tracks and saying, you might want to pan this a bit wider, or you might want to add this effect or something, or help with the arrangement, something like that. I thought it might be a good idea.
It's a brilliant idea. In fact, we did it for the last assignment. It's the first time I did a Zoom session with members, and I
missed that.
And I did. I gave feedback on all the this kind of top entries. It was brilliant. It's good to kind of go through them all in a more of a kind of classroom setting, because the YouTube live stream is it's just a little bit tougher with the delay, and also just the chat box on YouTube. So that was really nice to do. So maybe you'll have to join in with the next assignment. It's going to be launching this week actually, and it's for making a track with the horn samples, the bonus samples that we gave members a few weeks back. So kind of free reign to make any track you like with that. The samples, I think the samples are 126 BPM, but of course you can chop them up and do what you want, so looking for creativity and just whatever kind of tracks people want to make. So that's that really. Thanks so much for joining me. Like I said, really, really nice to meet you face to face, and congratulate you in person on your win. And we'll do an article on this on the blog as well, and we'll get each of your remixes featured in there alongside we'll have the playlist on SoundCloud for the last remix comp soon as well, so we'll give that some exposure.
Great. I'm looking forward to firing up Ozone 10 and trying to master my own track and see if I can get it punchy.
Excellent. Well, good luck with it. And I'll see you in a future live stream or Zoom session or on the forum.
Brilliant. Thank you, Producertech, and thank you, Rob.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.